So yeah, thank you very much. We got Erik Overlooking the Hudson, episode 53, the Carrying the Culture show. Thank you very much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
No, I'm really pumped about this. So it was weird. I mean, I like having just dope guests, whether it's music, it's not about, you know what I mean? And so I like stepping outside of the rap shit all the time. We're gonna talk music, of course, but it's like, you know, you're a fashion designer, you know what I'm saying? And you make the shit I love. So it's like
thank you.
I'm pumped, you know what I mean? Our styles are similar to a lot of things we like. And the thing is, it's interesting, is we've chopped it up, you know, through DM and stuff like that, but we don't really know each other. I know you make dope hats.
Not yet.
Like polo, you know what I mean?
Thank you. And I know you like rap and polo, so we're brothers already. Like,
yeah, but I'm sure, you know, there's much more to both of us than that. So it's like, it's really good to just get to, you know, build for a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
And talk.
My pleasure.
So everybody, if you guys got questions for Erik, use the questions feature below. It's right here with a question mark. That way I can pull it up. I don't promise to get to every question because we got some stuff we're trying to cover. But and also if you get on any fuck shit in the comments, just like on the page, you guys will get sent home because we don't have time. All right. So
cool.
So I just want to share real quick how I found out about you, my man. Kid out of Chicago. I just know his IG is MK Brand. He had a dope ass. He had one of your hats on, dope ass red long bell. I was like, yeah.
Nice.
You know, and because that's not something you see all the time everywhere. And so I was like,
no.
Oh, shit. And,
not anymore.
He put me on. So
nice.
So give me some background though, man. Just like start where you want to start.
Yeah, no doubt. Native New Yorker, born and raised. 43 years old, you know, born 78. So my adolescence and teenage years were in, you know, my version of hip hop's golden era. And you know what the imagery that filled any media at that time was, it was polo, it was Polo, Hilfiger, Nautica, you know, and that was it. That was what we were exposed to. And then, you know, being from New York City, you know, it wasn't just exposure through the videos. It was everybody in my grade, maybe not grade school, but everybody in my junior high, everybody in my high school. That's what it was, you know, the coolest of the cool, rock polo. That was it, you know, all the hoods rock polo. Polo was status. I guess I already branched off into just polo. Unfortunately, you know, but it was obviously a big influence, in my youth. I was always into fashion, you know, always into fashion. I lived with an older family member who was about 13 years older than me. So I got all his hand-me-down polo. So like when I was like a literally 9-10-year-old kid, I was rocking, you know, man-sized polo chino jackets in every color and polo chino pleated pants, all the pastel colors, all this hand-me-downs. So I was head to toe. I wasn't always in the logo, you know, like it wasn't like Suicide Ski shit back then. Like for me, 89, I was just wearing horsies, but it was, you know, even as a kid, it was head to toe polo. And I was fortunate to have been, you know, put on by somebody else. And, so, you know, polo, and always loved art. You know, it was always artists, you know what I'm saying? Drawing Transformers, drawing Knight Rider's car, drawing this, that, the other, you know, just as a little kid in school, you know, grade school. And eventually, again, being from New York and just what you're surrounded by, graffiti's everywhere I went. You know, I used to live in Queens, for example, but went to school in Manhattan. You hop on the train, whether you're above ground, right? You pass the rooftops, whether you're in the tunnels, you know, through the tunnels, always like this on the glass. You know, on the glass, look at everybody's tags, throw ups. Like I remember playing with my He-Man figures on the express bus when I used to live in the Bronx, going from the Bronx to Manhattan to go to school. And I was literally, I'm playing with He-Man. So I'm like 5 at that time. All I did was like this, my neck's like this on the Bronx highways, just staring at throw ups, fill-ins, you know, pieces. I was just, you know, it lured me in right there. You know, you always want to know who is that? Who did that? And you're just big, bold, massive things. And, you know, like that. So anyway, it was graffiti. It was art. It was clothing. It was hip hop, the music. That's what it was. I grew up on on Houdini, Fat Boys, Run DMC. I guess maybe then the Beastie Boys, 89-ish or something like that. You know, and then into the early 90s of, you know, Mobb Deep or Wu-Tang or, you know, Cien Noriega, Capone Noriega, blah, 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 you know, Big Noy, Cormega, blah, 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 you know, so on and so forth. All my favorite, the Locks, Jadakiss, can't forget Jadakiss, you know, again, anybody growing up in my time, you know, this is what it was. Like, I'm not unique in that sense. But always had that fashion bug, always coordinated and out, you know, like, I've said before, like I was in high school, I never rocked the same outfit, and that includes JanSport book bag. Never rocked the same outfit once in each year. Like that's how you know how much variety and how much emphasis I put on looking fresh as a kid. You know, and that extended to the whips too. I'm 17 years old. Got the 92 Acura Vigor, the 92 Legend Coupe, the 93 Acura Vigor, the 95 GS in 93, the ML 320 in 98, and, you know, blah, 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 28 cars. You know, again, the culture had me caught up in that materialism. You know, I'm older, wiser now, you know, but they got me for a long time. They had me buying in, so I bought in.
Yeah, no, I hear you, of course. And, yo, so let me ask you a candid question, because I wanted to talk about
anything
as far as the brands and stuff. Did you rock with anything else back in the day, gear wise?
99.9999% polo. My mother would try to, like, for a birthday, buy me something Hilfiger, but it would never get worn. No offense to Hilfiger. You know what it was like, because even back then it was like you felt like Tommy was reaching even back then, you know, like polo was organic, Ralph Lauren was organic. The streets took that.
Right.
Hilfiger said, I'm going to market to this. Now, mind you, I'm sure there was some period of time where Hilfiger didn't say that, and the streets were just wearing his clothing. I'll acknowledge there was some of that, but that quickly transitioned into let's capitalize on this, like Ralph Lauren did, start around like 96-ish. Like, basically, to me, like, and no offense to anybody who loves it, but once Polo Sport dropped, like once Ralph Lauren, not the first Polo Sport with the cologne and the blah, 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 like 92, 93-ish, but once they did the rectangular lockup logo, where it's a Ralph Lauren Polo Sport and the little tiny flag at the end, once that shit happened and they put it on the breast of everything and on the front of every hat and on this and on, once you saw they were just cashing in and exploiting their own essence, that was it. You know, for me, that was it. It was dead. Yeah. So then I just, you know, then it was just enjoying what I still had from the mid 90s down, back, post, and then just trying to acquire more of what I loved, you know, from back then. So no, to answer your question, no, not really. Like, and I mean, of course, North Face, right, was popular. Nah, in the winter, I just rock polo. You know, like you saw a little, North Face was like, it was around. I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't around. Of course, you could look back and you could see the internet, right? You got like Joey Ones, Gore-Tex Hoarders, and of course, a lot of Gore-Tex kids out of Queens, the Bronx. There was Gore-Tex around, but Gore-Tex was like this big. Polo was like, you know, this big, you know? But no, polo, you know, to me, I think to most, polo was the this dude say, at least not U.S. Polo Association, never that. Not even Chaps, bro. Like my mother probably once or twice tried to buy me something from Chaps. Nah, thank you, Ma. Like I never wear that outside. Like, you know, that's the sleeping shirt. You know, like that's the boxers for the house. But it was nothing but polo. And then I will admit, I branched off into the Europeans, like in the late 90s, you know, like Versace silks and this, that, the other, just for a little bit, and just never, you know, still 99.9 was polo, but then I added a few little miscellaneous. Yeah. Do you want me to, I mean, I don't want to seem like I'm monopolizing the conversation. I'm interested in you too. So if I can, you know, I want to ask you questions too, but I don't know how you want to do it.
Just vibe, yo.
What about you, bro? I don't know if it's polite to ask. How old are you? Like, are you my age? Are you a little older, a little younger?
I'm 45.
Okay, so we're the same place. And what about you? Where'd you grow up, and how do you feel about all this?
I'm from Connecticut, so I was
okay.
I'm from outside of Hartford, and then I've spent like 12 years in New Haven. I mean, Connecticut's small, so I mean, I'm from Connecticut, so like my influence. I mean, that's why we rock, yo. I mean, like New York basically casts a net on like a big.
Yeah, Connecticut's right there. You're right there. Yeah, so you're not far. Yeah.
I was in New York City just like about every weekend from like 17 to whatever. So yeah. That was the influence was the same.
Yeah,
it was pretty much the same with a lot of things. I mean, I for me, just based on my makeup, I can't just rock one thing. So I fucked with a lot of different things. If it was dope, I fucked with it. And then I started running an outdoor store. So
great. Wow.
In New Haven, and I got really heavily into the outdoor brands for the functionality and the fact that they were dope. And I'm I can have this jacket for 10 years and it'll fucking keep me dry while you're getting soaked in something you paid the same amount for, and you're getting, you know what I mean? So
and that was the legitimate origins of all that, and that's that's how street people, it's not street people, that's how the urban environment adopted it, because it was functional, it was usually high price, high tech shit is high price, and
but
high price.
So it's funny because I don't say these are interviews, I say they're just conversations, but yeah, I mean, the goal is to get to know about you, because most of the people on here, because of my page,
right, they know you're ready. They know you're ready.
No, most of the people on here, these are your people, man. I mean, these are came on here because of you. So
thank you, everybody. Much love.
They're not gonna they don't want to hear about me. So we're gonna get.
I feel you. I feel you. I appreciate it. But I didn't want to seem like I'm monopolizing.
Nah, I mean, we're good, man. So I got questions though, so we're gonna definitely.
I'm ready.
I got a lot of stuff to cover. But why hats? That's one thing I want to know. Like, why hats?
Hats, hats. It was.
Ask wifey, she's just hats. I mean, there's all over, and a lot of people don't even have a head. So.
Me too. I'm always wearing a hat, pretty much. I mean, it was just even back then, right? I mean, that was always an accessory. It was again, it was just like a JanSport bag or a belt or a pair of shoes. It was always something. It was always that cherry on top. that completes the outfit kind of a thing. So hats, you got to have hats in a variety of flavors. Needless to say, again, if you really want. Now, mind you, nowadays I work from home now, bro, and I go to the gym in the morning, and then I don't wear clothes. I don't wear, so nowadays I'm not super on top of everything like I used to be, but I have the wardrobe to say that, I'm on top of this, but I don't rock as hard as I used to. Obviously, again, you get to a certain point in life, you're on different things, but that all said, no, hats. Why hats? Hats are a perfect accessory. Hats always get beat down and wrecked, right? You're strapping something to your sweaty ass head, right? And that's it. So no matter what, no matter how much your favorite shit is your favorite shit, it's not going to be your favorite shit for very long. It's going to get wrecked. So hats, and then, fast forward all so let's say the polo days, the early 90s to today. How long can I really hold down a hat that's 20 something years old before it's just wrecked? So, a couple of years ago, I said, I need hats, I got all this clothing and I got nothing to match. And nobody's in this realm anymore. Ralph Lauren, I love you, Ralph Lauren, if you're listening. Well, there's only 16 people right now, but if you're listening and watch, Ralph Lauren, much respect. I hope, and I hope we get back to where we used to be. I hope that becomes an objective, because we could definitely make it happen. But right now, the stuff that they're putting out is just, it's too far from what it used to be, not only in terms of, just fit, feel, and finish. Literally all three of those are very different fit, feel, and finish than they used to be. So that being said, there was nothing in the realm of hats that suited my needs. And of course, there's the one or two, like you said, like the one or two or three outdoor, outerwear companies that do occasionally throw a long bill hat out there, but it's usually very look specific and might not vibe with all my pastels. Or
it's like a green ex officio hat, and it's dope, and it's I have a fucking zipper for your but it's good, and I love green. Yeah, but there's other colors.
There just wasn't enough out there that could sustain my that not even sustain, that could even meet my needs. So, again, I took it upon myself to see if I could get it done. And initially it was literally just to fill the void in my own closet and wardrobe and needs. And I said, if I got to manufacture these hats and make a bunch of them just so I could have them, it's worth it,
Did you have a background in that already or no?
No, not at all. I mean, again, since I was a kid, I always wanted to design fashion. Like I mentioned, I'm artistic. I draw, I renovate things, I modify cars. I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big visualizer, and I see things, and then I pursue those. I pursue bringing those things to fruition and manifesting them, and whether by creativity or just constant pursuit. Or, again, so even if it's just chasing down an objective and it just required my persistence, not my actual creativity, or whatever the case, I'm just about making shit happen. And that's what it was. But, but now mind you, I'm not dumb either. So I figured I know my culture, I know my marketplace, and the reality is there's probably more people in my shoes. So if I end up making these and I had to, buy a bunch to get me what I wanted, realistically, I could probably place these other hats in homes that would love to have them there, and and that'll cover my expenses at the least. So that's how it started, and then here we are, 2-ish and change years later, and a couple thousand followers later. I don't say followers in the following term. I mean, interested parties in what I do, that kind of a thing. And but yeah, it just came out of need and desire and necessity. But no background in that. But again, like enough of my own desires and pursuits, whether they be artistic type pursuits or creative pursuits or project management, occupational things, or, to make shit happen, So yeah, it wasn't that hard to make happen, but, I could go into all sort of other sub stories, but, how can I say, the kind of quality and specificity and perfection. Now, mind you, this is clothing, so perfection on fabric and moving surfaces and things not cut by computer-controlled CNC machines. Talking about perfection outside of that kind of a realm is not attainable anyway, but my perfectionistic type mind would like to have as close to perfection as possible. So you mix perfection with mass manufacturing, and it's like oil and water, bro. So it took a hot minute just to find manufacturing that could produce something that I could stand behind, and that's the biggest thing. Everything is vetted by me. Like if I don't make anything I don't like, it might be a stupid business model, right? But I'm not doing, like, if I don't like it, if I personally don't want the item, at least at this point in my hat business, I'm not making it. It doesn't, because it's just not for me. Right. But everything has to pass very, very stringent standards, and everything I build and do is to very detailed specifications. It may not look like it. Somebody might just pick up the hat and go, "Oh, look, hat." Yeah, but that shit took me like making tech packs to communicate information to a manufacturer, certain things related to art files for some of my more decorated hats. I was telling somebody the other day, where's that thing? I don't know, it's over there somewhere. An outline, right, around a word, a single word, and just an outline around it. I probably spent 8 hours on manipulating this out, because I was reproducing something. So I spent probably about 8 hours in total reproducing this outline around this particular word, so that I'm talking things that were 0.3 of 1 millimeter to 0.7 of 1 millimeter, tweaking those measurements to like 0.5 to 0.4, blah, 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 until I was satisfied that what I had created matched the original as close as humanly possible. So it's shit like that a lot of people, not a lot of people, a couple of people are making hats right now, right? And some replica hats or some reproduction hats or some inspired by hats. I don't know. Do you pay much attention to what's going on in like the polo bootlegging realm? I'll say it like that.
I've seen a lot of designers lately, whatever hat makers that, I don't know if you're referring to a lot of the guys that take swim trunks and do things like that. And
okay, no, that's another people, they customize. Yeah, like some people actually try to remake polo hats,
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, so I love polo and stuff, but to me, like, a lot of the bullshit, there's a lot of bullshit behind that. There's a lot of fuckery and fucked up energy that I don't really want to be associated with as far as that vibe goes. There's cool shit. There's people like you, and there's people that I mean, I'm cool with a lot of like cats that are really a part of this, but then there's like shit where I see cats, getting, charging, $300 for something. I saw at Marshall's for like $60. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You hired in retail. Like, why for a shirt that everybody got? Like, when I see the fuck going on with some of this stuff, I kind of shy away. So I'm not like in the loop like that. I like dope shit, which is how I came across your shit and how I came across a few other pages and stuff like that. But a lot of it turns me off, to be honest with you, because it's like there's just a lot of, when it becomes about this all the time, and not about like, like the culture of what, you know, the fashion and the shit that we're about, then it's like, you know.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And a lot of people, you know, like, and not, again, I say a lot, I don't mean a lot. A few people in this sphere sitting from my side of the computer screen, my side of the phone, it appears that that's the primary motivation behind what they do. Like, again, I'm very capable. I have all sort of resources. If I wanted to just bootleg shit and make money, again, I've been aware of this culture since it started, since it was birthed pretty much. So I certainly know what the most popular logos are, and I know what the most popular hats were. And I could just go ahead and reproduce I could bootleg everything and just reproduce it and make money and make money and make money.
Not to cut you off, like,
yeah, no.
If you're not familiar, I'm sure, because again, everybody pretty much on here knows you. Your product is dope, and I'm gonna get to it later. I want to know where the fuck some more shit is. I'm always checking your page. Like, what the fuck? I don't see anything.
Thank you, bro.
So, but your shit is dope. And the quality, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, damn, yo, like this is like. So yeah, I know. I'm like, yo, I thought in my head, I was like, damn, if this cat wanted to, he could fucking like, you know. But that's not what it's about. But yeah, so the quality is really, really fucking good, and I can tell that it. And I kind of have like a cap when it comes to like buying hats as far as prices go. But like, I see some of your shit, I'm ready to fucking just empty it all out, man. So that's why we need. Well, I put it out there right now. I'm feeding for some more joints to come, man. Like we'll
do it.
We need those. But yeah, so what I was gonna say to you, why not like t-shirts, or why not hoodies, or why not rugbies, or why not?
I'll tell you, no, I have a great desire to do it. Like I was starting to say before, no, I've as a kid I wanted to be a fashion designer. I don't think my friend Emmy's in here right now, but my friend Emmy, who you know, we were childhood friends, like teenage, you know, like first years of high school friends. She actually went on to become a Ralph Lauren designer. Yeah, very nice. No, but I've always wanted to do fashion design. I mean, again, unfortunately, as you heard me talking about cars and clothes and all sort of other nonsense, I was too busy pursuing material goods to pursue an education. Like, you know, in something like that I perceived wouldn't pay good money initially. You know, forget about quality of life, forget about happiness, forget about enjoyment with what you do most of your waking life. Fuck all that. I need money. You know, that was, again, I was a kid, you know? So I didn't go that route, unfortunately, at that time. Not that it's ever too late, but again, I didn't go that route. So, but that didn't ever leave me. And like I said, I always, partook in all of my other creative endeavors to kind of fill that void for fashion design that I never got into. But no, I always wanted to do fashion design, and absolutely, I do want to do, clothing, like, you know, again, clothing I wear, but that isn't in the marketplace anymore. And I don't want to say it all, encourage anybody else to go do what I want to do, but just literally what I just said, like clothing that can't be found, you know, again, fit, finish, and feel. A lot of stuff has changed over time, and it's not what it used to be. And just like with the hats, again, a long bill hat's not for everybody. Some people detest a long bill hat, you know, and that's fine. That's their prerogative too. But I love them. There's a lot of people like me and you who do enjoy them, whether they're in, you know, this longer bill length or my slightly shorter long bill or whatever. But guess what? I don't want to say I'm never going to make a short bill hat. And I did do one particular replica hat that, because I was replicating the hat, the original had a short bill. So of course, like, you know, in my mind, at least initially, I had to make it with a short bill. Then I did it my way at the very end and made a long bill version like I always dreamed about. But, you know, other than that, I could say it's very improbable that I will ever make a short bill hat, short bill, you know what I'm saying? But medium and longer, and I'll keep doing.
That's a good point, though. Like, first of all, why the long bill? I want to ask you that, because like because you made a good point about how, like, you know, it's not this. First of all, I'll tell you a joke. Like, or this style, like, right? This isn't the way the shit we kind of fuck with. This isn't for everybody. Like, I don't see you with a hat on, the size 8 fitted hat.
Nah, definitely not.
Right?
Definitely
like,
not.
That's not us. Right? So the thing is, this isn't for everybody. So, oh shit. So why?
Yeah, I haven't had a haircut since I moved, bro. So let's keep this covered.
So why the long bill, man? You know what I mean? Because this isn't for everybody.
I'll tell you, I'll be very frank, probably, like in reality, like for all 15 people that are listening right now, plus you, I want to tell you the realness. No, like it's probably, again, because I write graffiti, right? I mean, nowadays I'm not active, but for years I was active. I'll just touch on graffiti real quick. I mean, for years, back in the day when I was a kid, we would sometimes cut school, I would go to a Nordstrom. We would buy a coffee for like 75 cents. And that coffee would allow me to sit indoors at their little cafe and draw. And then I would have like 8 more coffees, and we would be there like 6 hours straight, 7 hours straight, just drawing in black books. And then we would go outside to scope out spots. And then we'd spend the rest of the day just scoping out spots that we were going to hit at night. And then on another day, it would just be days of racking markers. Like, I'm talking like Sakura fucking racks in the art store, like the rack that actually held the fucking SG7s. I remember taking one of these racks, putting the shit in my book bag. I can tell you all sorts of stories. Me and my boy, there was you can't even see how big, but I walked by this, a hardware store one day, right? They had a sale on paint. They had this big bin, must have been like a potting plant bin. The shit was holding, must have been 50, 60 cans of paint. Down the block from there was a underpass that went under a street, came up on the other side. We walked by the first time and I saw what was up. I told my man, we were a kid, I told, yo, let's come back around the block, right? We're going to walk. You're going to walk in front of me. I'm going to walk behind you. We're going to walk right by this thing. As you walk by, put your hand out to the side, grab the front. I'm going to grab the back. We're just going to keep walking. Get to that underpass. We're going to fucking jet. Long story short, we did. We fucking came to the other side. We had garbage bags. We got garbage bags in our book bag. Came on the block like Santa Claus or like the Grinch who just stole Christmas. And, blah, 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 but not like graffiti. Those are the days is right, the guy said. But anyway, graffiti was my life. And where was I going before I started talking about graffiti? My bad. Oh, hats. This is longbill. Why the longbill? Okay. So, I mean, as you know, in, imagery in hip hop videos, right? Not every hat was a longbill, but the more unique ones were longbills. I guess a little bit of imagery in Ralph Lauren's advertisements, long bills. But here's probably the biggest kicker, as crazy as this might sound. The biggest kicker was probably like people's graffiti characters, truth be told. Graffiti characters always dressed pretty fly and they always had a long bill. And that was probably really like why I like long bills the most, because it looked like a fucking graffiti character. Like a typical New York b-boy graffiti NEC, Neck 1 All-Stars. I'm in Videograph 9. That's my claim to fame. If you go fucking buy Videograph 9, my man here said, what was your tag? Neck 1 All-Stars. I lived in Seattle for a couple years, so some of my boys from New York were in Videograph 8 class and Dare from Staten Island, and then somehow they helped me get in Videograph 9. So if anybody can go find like an old VHS tape, you could watch me on like an internationally distributed, even then that's even back in the day, like they sold VHSs like all over the fucking globe, Videograph series. And I came off in Videograph 9 as a kid. But yeah, I think that would probably be the biggest reason as to why I had an affection for longbills, because I look like a graffiti character, a fly graffiti character, And probably right now what anybody would have thought, right?
I wouldn't have thought that. That's not what.
I don't think anybody would have thought that.
That's not what I was thinking. So that's hilarious. That's just funny.
What about you?
It was when I was working at the outdoor shop, and it just technically made sense, and it just looked fucking dope, and nobody had it. My whole shit.
Right, nobody had it. Yeah. It's the less common thing too, for sure.
Shit, with this low shit, with all of my gear, is I'm not trying to look like you.
Yeah.
I can't fuck with that shit. I'm trying to get the shit that you don't have. You go this way.
Yeah.
I'm going that way. So
right, for sure.
You guys do your size 9 fitted joints. I got a small head. My shit looks crisp like this. I'm staying with my shit that I've been rocking back since way back when. That's what works for me. And so
yeah, definitely. No, and for the same reason, bro. I also I'm more the contrarian in life, and I'm definitely the yes, I'm with you on that. The less the road less traveled kind of a look and a style, and as long as it suits my needs, I'm happy with that. I don't give a shit. Nobody knows what the fuck a long bill is or why I'm wearing it. I don't care. Like I'm doing it for
my shit. Got to be different. Like I can't, I'm just not I can't do the basketball team shit. Like that's just not my style. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nah, definitely.
So please share what you can, as much as you can. The process from, like a hat, birthing a hat.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, you were mentioning, that you like some of the hats you've seen that I make. So my hats are definitely, some of my hats end up being influenced by very uncommon old polo pieces, like as far as in color combos. Not that they're pieces, but that are so uncommon that like nobody has them anyway. but I thought, wow, that looked dope, and I'd like to reinterpret that into a hat of my own, design or build. Some of the general components likewise were inspired by hats elsewhere, obviously, right? I mean, that's even Ralph Lauren bites the, everybody gathers inspiration from outside sources, whether it's Double RL to be inspired by all sort of military shit, or, everybody gets inspired by something. So for me, it's most often, just older imagery, but I'm not making like exact hats, just minus the polo logo or anything like that. But inspiration comes from a, variety of sources. But hats, there's usually some sort of inspiration behind what it is I'm about to sit down and do. I sit down with, the idea comes up, right? The idea comes up, and then I go sit down with my stack like this big of swatch cards, right? I have all sort of swatch card, every sort of fabric you could imagine. And or if I don't have it on hand, I'll search for it online and blah, blah, blah. And then I have tech packs, like essentially a visual, a pictorial and text compilation that guides my manufacturer and what it is I want them to produce. So then I'll go to it's essentially a coloring book with lines to input text. And then I'll pull up my hat in Illustrator, and I'll start building it out in Illustrator the way I want it to look, to test out the color combos, test out the strap, test out the whatever, leather strap, the Velcro, the longer bill, the shorter bill, the pocket, the no pocket, the zipper, whatever. I'll just build it digitally on the computer first. But then with the actual fabrics, on hand, to play around with. And at this point, so I'm 2 and change years in, which in the grand scheme of things isn't very long. But that said, I mean, like I put up a photo a handful of months ago of I think it was like 44 sample hats I made last year. A lot of these people put shit into production. They didn't even make one sample. I always, like with people who know me, like I joke and say like 2 things I'll never do. Pre-sale is number 1. And I'm just going to knock anybody who pre-sales. No offense to anybody who pre-sales, but I'm going to tell you how I feel about a pre-sale. How in this capacity, there are other certain capacities where pre-sale might make sense, but like in a garment type of a thing, how do you sell something to somebody that you've never had in your hand, that you've never seen? How do you control the quality of something that you literally physically don't have, that you're taking money from other people to buy and making a commitment to them, but you never even had the shit? You must not know about manufacturing, or you must care about money more than you care about the people you just took their money from. Because if you know about manufacturing, shit always goes wrong, period. Like that's a fact, nothing really goes right. Doesn't matter that the hats I end up selling are pretty fucking decent, and I have very high standards. But it doesn't always start that way, and it's not always a smooth linear path to pretty fucking decent hat, like there's a lot of hurdles along the way. And a lot of times I would have bit myself in the ass had I tried to pre-sell anything. So, moving, that's not the way to move. My opinion. Sidetrack, because I don't remember where I started, but sorry, bro.
We were talking about the process. I knew this was going to go like this.
The process. Yeah. Okay, my bad. Thank you. The process.
The process of the hat from start to finish. So you got your swatches, you got your shit.
Yeah, got swatches. I make my tech pack, and that's it. And then I put in a sample. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, if let's say this particular hat, right? This is it's a long bill. It's a light.
So bad. I've been eyeing that shit the whole time.
I got you, bro. I got you. This is my brand. This one's coming out on Friday via DM only. Well, I mean, I don't say only, but usually they don't last past the DMs. Knock on wood. But if they do, then it'll go public after Friday. But this is a lightweight denim. My light colored denim was like a thicker, like almost like wearing a pair of jeans on your head. This one is very like lightweight and nice, and got the double polished O-rings in the back. Got a accent strap, accent underbrim.
You don't have a New Era sticker on the
No, I got it right here. I got to cover it up with the denim patch right now, so you can't see. But yeah, no, so good. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I make a tech pack. So here's the thing. Anytime, I mean, again, not to give away all the hat secrets, but put it like this. Anything you change on a hat, the hat's going to be different. So in my eyes, you need to invest that time and money in making a sample. You have to, because again, if not, how do I stand behind something I'm not even talking pre-sale, but how do I go ahead and go, yeah, let me place a order of quantity for this thing that I've never actually had in my hands or seen. I might pick this exact crown pattern and this exact brim, but I want to do it in a corduroy fabric, the whole thing. Well, how do I know what's going to happen? You don't. You got to make the hat to find out. So, it's always a little surprise, a little mystery. So that's how I ended up with, 40 something samples last year on like one hat. I'm doing them on the 5th sample for this one hat until I get that shit right. Either I get it right or I determine that it just won't ever be my definition right. And then I don't make it. And then you go to my other page, OTH Labs, and it becomes a sample that eventually goes for sale. And that's it. And then it goes, then I make a sample, and then, a handful of weeks later, or less than a handful of weeks later, the sample comes back, and hopefully it's as good as I expect it to be. And then and then eventually it'll go into production. Not everything goes into production right away. Like, I'm not pressed for money. I'm not pressed for time. I'm not pressed for anything. I do this all at my leisure. Like, there's a lot of hats, like, people ask me, oh, E, what's up with that one? What's up with that? Oh, yeah, like that one is ready to throw into production, but, I've been focused on other hats instead. Like a lot of my inspired, so just to give you the inspired by ones, like I do things that are, quote, inspired by Ralph Lauren, right? Because that started because I have certain Ralph Lauren items that Ralph Lauren never made a hat to accompany that line of clothing, right? Like, especially my favorite line, I was actually going to wear a t-shirt today, the Florida line, right? I've always been a Florida person. Like, ever since I first tested Florida as like an 8-year-old New York kid, my mother shipped me down one time to Florida during like a winter break, because I a single parent household, only child, blah, blah, blah. And she worked, so she didn't want me just in the house all day, every day by myself. So she shipped me down to my grandfather's 8-year-old kid. I remember getting to like Miami International Airport, and I came out of the fucking, the fucking electric doors open up, and I step outside. Now, mind you, it was December in New York, and now and it was this warm, tropical, fucking beautiful breeze, and warm and sunny. And I thought, oh, this is my home. This is my home. And that was at like 7. And then I knew eventually I would arrange the pieces in my life to make it so I could live here. And eventually I ended up doing that. But, why the fuck am I talking about this? I didn't even smoke, man. And then why am I talking about this shit?
Yeah, I'm high as fuck. I'm like,
and you remember where I'm at? You're keeping track better than I am. Shit. There was a point. There was a reason. Florida, New York. What the fuck was I saying? My bad. I didn't have a drink. I didn't have a drink or anything. I didn't smoke anything either. Samples, 5 hats, a lot of samples. Damn, bro. My apologies.
My apologies for not remembering. So.
Oh, Ralph Lauren. I got it. Ready? Inspired by Ralph Lauren shit. That's what it is. So I was saying the Florida line, why I love Florida so much. So the point is, Ralph Lauren, I think there was one single Florida hat. And we're talking about hats, right? Why do we make hats?
Sober.
I'm perfectly sober, bro. Florida hat. So I needed to make a hat to accompany this line, right? And I saw exactly, I knew, in my opinion, exactly how this hat should look. It should be like a kind of thicker cotton. It should have a mesh, a perforated mesh side. It should have a leather strap. It should have the particular, they use like kind of like a vintagey stencil font for the Ralph Lauren Florida font. So just, I already knew exactly what I needed, how I needed the hat to be. So point is, I went ahead and made this inspired by hat, not to profiteer off Ralph Lauren's established, accomplishments, but because I wanted a hat to match my Ralph Lauren clothing that I love. And again, I don't know, I'm not sure why exactly I'm telling the story, but I made that particular inspired by hat. And there was some reason I'm telling the story, but I have no idea why. But yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's all good. First before we continue, so we have 15 minutes left. I'm always in the IG doghouse, so they're gonna cut my show.
Okay.
Do you have time to go a little longer if we need to go longer? And
Absolutely.
If so, then we got to run.
Yeah, I talk for a while. My bad.
You got to run it back. Shut up. Then we good, man. We good. Trust. This is what I wanted. I saw part of your other interview that you have posted on your page. I didn't really look for anything else. I wanted this just be me talking to you, like this, like
yeah.
What's good, like so. And I had a lot of questions, like because all the shit you're saying, single mom. only child. That's me. Like Graffiti.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so it's like a lot of this shit you're saying. It's like, oh, okay. Like I wanted to be a fashion designer. Ding, that's me. Like so that's why. So it's
nice.
You know, yeah. So that's why I wanted to really connect and build, just to see you know who you are. Like, cause
for sure, bro.
You like polo and you make hats, dope hats. But like, there's more to you. There's more behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, again, I'll say it again. I'm not. This is no pro. Yo, the quality is crazy, son. Like it's
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I got my shit. I was like, I didn't even want. Yo, I don't even wear that shit that much, man. Like, I really don't. Like, and I like, it's not an everyday hat. I mean, I wear a black hat a lot. It's a North Face hat. I can just beat the shit out of it, whatever. Just wipe it off. But like, I don't wear it's yo, the shit is.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm gonna ask you right now, what's going on new? Anything? What we need?
Yeah, definitely.
What?
Yeah. So what I try to do on my regular page, on my Overlooking the Hudson page is so I'll just give you a little more backstory. So last year I released hats in seasonal batches, in small clusters seasonally, right? And that worked. There was no problem with that. But what I didn't like was that I was kind of quiet. I was out of the loop. At least in public, I was out of the loop. Behind the scenes, I was working I'm saying literally daily on hats. And because I manufacture my hats overseas, that means, their day starts when our day ends. You know what I'm saying? My 9 p.m. is when I start communicating with overseas. And that, that goes on daily. I mean, literally every single day of the week, whether you see a hat coming out or not, I'm doing something. Like that's, it's like that meme with the iceberg and you only see the little tip, but that down below the waterline is the big shit. There's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that nobody sees or knows or even would imagine, in order to be able to produce even the little volume I'm producing. So the point is, I was doing it seasonally, but I just wanted to be, present a little bit more, but I didn't want to post nonsense. I didn't want to post non-hat content. I just wanted to stay. Oh, and I'll circle back to that in a minute, clothing. So just real quick before I go with that, clothing, why am I not doing clothing yet? I didn't want to spread myself too thin. That's the long and the short of it. I didn't want to, because I see how much effort just producing good hats takes. So to spread myself even thinner and to start trying to, I have started a few projects with clothing, like to the sampling stage. I haven't put anything into production yet, but it's not the time. I want to continue to grow this little baby seedling, overlooking the Hudson as the predominant worldwide longbill hat brand first, and then if relevant, then I'll branch out into making some more things that I would really like and that I think others would enjoy. And again, that's the motivation behind every hat. I mean, of course, in the end, do I want to be compensated for my time and effort by way of money, right? Of course I do. Anybody would, right? Nobody pays my way, so that has to come. But I'm not doing any of this quote, for the money. But yeah, so I segued to clothing. And then, of course, I lost my initial path where I was going.
When the new shit's coming out.
New shit. All right. Thank you, bro. All right. So this year, thank you. So this year, what I decided to do was I said, you know what? I'm going to go on a second or third week basis. So I stay a lot more present, and drop a hat every second or third week. The cumulative number will be equivalent to last year's, overall number, but it'll just be broken up differently. And that's kind of what I'm trying right now. So this hat drops this Friday. Again, if there's any left, it'll hit the website after this Friday. I'll be reaching out to you personally on Friday, of course. But then I've got a bunch of good stuff. Now I've got here's the thing. Like I make hats that don't exist anywhere. Even back in the day, they didn't exist anywhere. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm not trying. Wait till you see. Thank you, bro. Wait till you see more stuff. Like I'm definitely, again, I'm bringing hats that I want to see. I'm bringing hats you don't see, not just for the sake of bringing hats you don't see, but bringing hats you don't see because I want to see them too. Like I said, sweatshirt material, like thicker cotton jersey denim, wax cotton, some more Gore-Tex hats coming this year. What else? A couple of, so here's the thing. Every now and then I come, like, I didn't even seek out this situation, but every now and then a situation where I can get a hold of an OG real special hat that I always wanted, and that even if I could ever justify spending the money on the hat in today's market, what it would really cost to buy somebody else's beat down one, I would still never wear it because I spent so much money on it. So there's a couple of these that I've been fortunate enough to be the right guy in the right place with manufacturing and know people who have these things. I've got a couple of these hats. Some, some of my people know which hats these are and know me. And so I'm going to be doing a couple of, these pet project kind of things, just, behind the scenes only, nothing in the public realm. But these are hats that, again, I've always wanted for myself. And I know if I feel that way about it, others feel the same way. And again, they're hats that even if you were to ever cough up the thousands of dollars that these individual hats would cost in today's market, you'd be a moron to wear it. Who's going to go wear a $3,000 hat? Not me. I'm personally not. I'm not worried about, I'm just worried about damaging it more. Shit, I just spent $3,000 on it. I'm not a billionaire. It means something. Plus, even just from a scarcity, point, I'm not going to go fuck up a hat. So anyway, I got a couple of those pet projects coming out too that, like I said, is more low key, more behind the scenes, but a lot of like that. One of them would be what I was explaining, to do an outline on one word on this hat. I put 8 hours into that. Some of these are like to manipulate, again, I'll tell you this, reproduction, if you give a shit, not looking at a photo online and going, I'm going to make that hat. Let me try. Move the mouse around. Oh, yeah, I did it. No. Like, if you're going to reproduce a hat, first of all, you need the original. You need the fucking OG. You need the source garment on hand, right? How are you going to reproduce the Mona Lisa without having it in your house? How are you going to bootleg some money without having the real money there to etch that fucking metal plate to do the printing? Like, you can't, right? You'd be a half-ass charlatan if not, So, the point is, some of these hats, I'm being literal, 60s, 50s, 70s of hours go into the artwork to reproduce it as accurately as humanly possible. And even then, because of the nature, again, of mass production and assembly, there's tolerances with everything, right? If I tell somebody, put this logo, center it left to right, have it X amount of millimeters off the bottom, place that other object aligned perfectly with that one letter, but also this amount of millimeters above that letter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I could create that specification, but the unfortunate reality is, again, this is mass production. This isn't like fine art. And, there have to be allowable tolerances, or these people are going to kick me out of their factories and they don't want to work with me. And even that, I really try to make, no tolerance is allowable. But again, this is not that type of a thing. And so anyway, a lot of fancy shit is, not a lot, a couple of unique fancy pieces that you would never have an opportunity to have ever in your life, because there's maybe one for sale every 2 or 3 years and it's thousands and thousands of dollars. I'll be doing some of these things and offering them to my previous customers. I don't care about new customers. I don't care about money like that. Again, do I want to be concentrating my time? Of course. Do I want to just go out and make money? Oh, lots of money, live fancy hat? No, I don't give a shit, bro. Like that. Look, if you put it like this, again, I'm very like this. If you weren't down with my product, not because, E makes the product, I'm down, he's so cool. No. If you're not a true fan of this product, I don't have any interest in selling you anything. Like, it doesn't matter to me. And likewise, if somebody buys a hat, I say no returns because I'm not a store. The reality is, if somebody bought a hat and for some reason they ever came to me and said, I'm really disappointed with this, or, this shit just really doesn't fit. I had no idea. I read your measurement, didn't know. All right, let me just refund that, because if you're not happy with the product, I don't want you to, it's got to be a fair and even exchange, I want you happy with what you got, and that's the most important thing, that I'm happy with the product and that whoever receives the product's happy with the product. And if we get that, then it's a win-win,
I really want to get into the music
Yeah, please.
Before we close out, and because that's we got no feedback. So
what happened?
That's a big, a big part of it.
Yeah.
Damn, where's my shit, man? So what were some of the major groups and shit that stood out for you? Major MCs?
So in the beginning, I mean, like my first love, one of my first musical loves was probably Houdini.
So dope and underrated, by the way.
I loved Houdini, man. Just classic, smooth. The imagery that went along with, a lot of their songs was just The visual imagery, I'm saying. Like, I don't remember if I was clicking my little channel 13 or, you know, on the UHF channel, the videos, you know what I'm saying? Friends or One Love or, you know, like probably two of my favorite songs right there, Friends and One Love. But yeah, that, you know, Run DMC, the Fat Boys. Like I said, in the beginning, that's who it mostly was. By the time, and then of course, I mean, I liked whatchamacallit. Sorry, I'm blanking. Freestyle, like, you know, like mostly Latin freestyle.
Yeah.
Because that was big on the radio in New York. It probably, you know, was over there in Connecticut too. You know.
Huge. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can't, all the Lil Susie shit, all that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course.
So that kind of stuff too. I mean, and honestly, like something, you know, that you wouldn't think. I like dancehall a lot. I like dancehall reggae. You know, like I like a lot of dancehall, like early dancehall. You know, Buju, Shaba, Capleton, Sizzla. You know,
that was all part of the fabric then, yo. That's
yeah.
The dancehall was there, like even
old Yellow Man. Yeah, Mad Lion.
Yeah, even like, I mean, it was all there. Like Buju, these guys were all doing, you know, even Smith and Wesson had the like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Boot Camp Clicks, Smith and Wesson. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember actually seeing them in person in a show, Boot Camp Click. But yeah. Tribe Called Quest, of course. Can't forget Tribe Called Quest. De La Soul, they were a little too soft for me, honestly. De La Soul. I didn't really like. I mean, maybe I didn't listen. Maybe I didn't listen. Put it like this. Honestly, I didn't listen to enough De La. I mean, even Tribe, you could say borderline soft. Like, put it like this. If it was not Mobb Deep or better, like I didn't really, you know, by the time
you like the hard.
By the time groups like Mobb Deep came out, if it wasn't Mobb Deep or harder, then it was too soft, you know. And then of course, because I'm from New York. By the time that like it was 95 and Deep Cover was, you know, from fucking Snoop and Dre, Deep Cover was on the fucking radio. Now, mind you, I love that beat. So I remember nobody would be home in my house. I turned up that radio dial on my terrace. I used to live on Crescent Street in Astoria. And like, I'm sure the whole block could hear fucking Deep Cover. But honestly, then because anybody was from the West Coast, I didn't like you. Like if you weren't from Astoria, I'm from Astoria, Queens mostly. If you weren't from Astoria, Queens, I pretty much didn't like, you know what I'm saying? You were a rapper, I didn't really like you. Like, I was that fucking particular, you know? Like, so I was excluding all the West Coast shit. But, you know, I'll tell you this. I said to my wife the other day in the car, what was that? What was this song? I don't know. Man, it's one of those, I don't even know what song it was, but it's some song that, like, I hated when it was on the radio back then. But now, just from that nostalgia, oh, yeah, AZ. My man right here said AZ. Of course, I love AZ, too. AZ, I love Ray, you know, again, I love Nas, of course I love Nas, but you know, rest in peace, Prodigy. Prodigy was undoubtedly the fucking, you know, the man when it came to fucking rapping, you know, Prodigy's my absolute fucking.
That's your dude.
That's the dude, yeah. I mean, again, I love a lot of other people too, like, you know, but just overall, P was he had what my brain, like, you know, really thrived on, you know, like, I guess that's how you could say, because I respect a lot of other people's, you know, rap game, a lot of people, other talent, you know, even Jay, I didn't like Jay-Z. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. We didn't like Jay-Z, you know, like, even if he's good or not, and you know, it is what it is. But
I didn't
I didn't really, because he was a little too flashy. You know, that's what it was about Jay. He was too busy trying hard to show a persona. P was just talking gutter ghetto shit. P was just ghetto. And look, I'll tell you a fun story with P. Not fun story with P. It's not really much of a story at all, but like, I don't say highlight of my life. It's not a highlight of my life, but an event that stands out certainly as notable. I remember one time, and it was later in life. It was like, I don't know what year it was. It was when Mobb Deep was playing, when they were doing that Red Bull tour. Like Red Bull sponsored some tour. I want to say it was like maybe, I don't know, 05, 6, 7, 8, 9, something. And they were at, where the fuck were they? They were in the city. Somebody knows where it is. The video's online. But anyway, they were in the city. And so I went with, you know, with a handful of friends. We were all standing on the fucking corner, just mixing drinks and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, getting fucking twisted. Yo, we walked down the block to this place. I can't believe I can't remember where the fuck it was. It's the place where you go downstairs in the basement. I don't remember. Anyway. And, somehow, yo, we cut the whole line. I'm not even advocating like cutting a line. It's not nice. Like I probably would have been mad at somebody like me. Somehow my whole little team cut the whole line. We're at the front of the stage, right? Because we cut the whole line. I don't know how we did it. But whatchamacallit? So during the concert, just out of nowhere, right? P's on stage. He's right here, right near me. He's just walking stage, rapping. He just comes up to me, looks down. He just extends out his hand. He just gives me dap, and then goes about doing the rest of his show. But like out of nowhere, I was the only person. And then you had mad people fiending, P, like, but just somehow. And I remember I was wearing my one particular Polo Florida shirt. So here's the funny part, I tried to check so many of these videos to see, could I get this flick real good? I got the flick. The flick is like this. The flick is from here to the end of my hand with P's hand like this. But you can't really see me. You can see the stupid admission bracelet I was wearing. Anyway, that would have been like my favorite flick that I had. But rest in peace, obviously. But yeah, P's the man. But yeah, so music. And, I'm one of these dudes, how you said, like, you had to have variety, in your wardrobe, for example, but I just stayed fixated and focused in my lane. Like, same thing, bro. Like, I listened to the same whatever, all tracks, same dance hall track, same fucking rap track, same this track. I'm still, where I get my music, whatever mixtape somebody made, they put on Dat Piff, and it still got some old school Queens rap. Like, prior to that, it was like Kaza or LimeWire or something. Prior to that, it was just bootleg CDs on like Jamaica Ave or on 125th Street.
You must really like that Bloody Money joint thing.
Yeah.
That must be some, like, because that shit moved me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I like a lot of, so many different.
Yo, so I got a question for you. You like all right, since you fucking came out your mom like with low on.
Basically.
Tell me then. Fine, throw me a fucking nugget here. What was the corniest shit you ever wore? Anything.
Let's see. I mean, you could take a look at any picture of me before I got into low, so like 8 years old and down. And I'm not saying I was my clothing was pretty fly. I can't always say I was fucking, superstar of every classroom kind of thing like that. But I'll tell you this, pre-low, it was Ocean Pacific, it was Genera, it was Izod, a lot of Izod. I think it was really those three brands, Ocean Pacific, Izod, and Genera. Yo, I'll tell you, want to hear something? I don't think anybody could beat this story right here. Back in I don't know, I think it was probably maybe 89, 90. Do you remember I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of these are. The original Nike Air pumps. The ones where it came with a little clear smushy and you had to stick it in the back of the shoe to pump your shit up. Because it had the big gray plasticized hump in the back.
I know what you're talking about.
And it came, here was the best part. It came with this big ass fucking clear plastic box with a neon orange top that the little pump thing inserted itself into. And I used to use that as my G.I. Joe box. But I had these shoes. They were like $189, bro. I was like the only kid with these. Of course, I begged, but I'm not saying I'm the fucking man. I'm just saying, like, I begged somebody to buy me these shoes incessantly. And I was fortunate enough that my working mother made like no money at all, somehow fucking, indulged my spoiled brat, fucking only child assness at the time, and got me these shoes. But I'll tell you this, those, and they retroed them a few years ago. Those shoes were garbage, bro. I used to walk a mile each way to school in Queens with those shoes. And could I tell you that after like 2 months, the soles were gone. There's no sole left. But for almost $200, man. Wow. Those are like the Nikes that died the quickest ever on me. But now, what was the wackest shit I ever wore? I don't know, bro. Like, you would have had to catch me back. I mean, and that's not even whack. Like, like as a kid, some members only jacket or, I used to wear a lot of
people pay good money for members only.
Nowadays, yeah, I bet nowadays, yeah. Like, I wanted to be like Michael Jackson probably for a minute when I was a kid, when he was cool, Dukes of Hazzard, bro. Dukes of Hazzard. I used to watch Dukes of Hazzard, and I would go to sleep in my jeans so I could be like the dudes in Dukes of Hazzard.
They were the shit.
That's fashion, bro. I was always a slave to fashion and fucking, and I guess, the culture of the mainstream media. Now I'm fucking anti, I'm super contrarian. Some British Knights. Nah, I never fucked with the British Knights. It was only, Ruse though. I had some Ruse. I had at least one pair. Remember Ruse with the Velcro and the pocket? Yeah,
somebody
at least one
I
pair.
recently interviewed somebody that I forgot who it was. I'm sorry. They told me about somebody getting robbed for their ruse
Oh
back
yeah,
in
yo,
the day.
speaking of Gary, I remember one time at my high school in the city, right? This dude, I won't mention his name, but he's a real tall dude too. He's like 6'4", but back then he used to be skinny as fuck. Like now he's more like the Shaq build, but when he was young, like when we were in high school, he was skinny like a pole. My man came into school one day with no fucking shoes on. They got it. They robbed him of his shoes in the fucking train station on the way into fucking school. Yeah, man, that's what it was back
Brother,
then. I mean, I could tell you a lot, like a lot of stories
I
about like
got
that type of shit.
I got another question for you before we get on out of here.
Yeah, yeah, bro.
So what are some of the worst trends of the '90s? Because I always say, listen, man. Well, and we can even go '80s too. Let's do '80s and '90s because not, everything wasn't dope in all those.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
no,
Those
no,
whack shit.
no.
So
Yeah.
let's go '80s. What was some of the worst fashion shit of the '80s?
Let's
The
see.
worst fashion shit of the '90s.
All right. Well, hairstyles not
go
fashion,
to the
but
90s.
hairstyles are
Let's go
pretty
to the
terrible.
90s. The '80s gets a pass.
90s.
Let's go to the '90s.
All right. Well, I was gonna say like some Z Cavaricci pants, but I think those are but that's like late.
95 belt loops.
Yeah, yeah. But with the like the leg silhouette look like Aladdin, you know.
Yeah,
But
genie joints.
yeah, yeah. There's Aladdins. I mean, the '90s. You know, you could look at like fucking like, and I even with polo on the top and with nice book bags and nice hats and nice sneakers. I even rocked some Jenko jeans as a kid. Remember them big ass, the straight leg pants, you know, like the stovepipe type pants? Because I skated for a little while. I not only, I mean, I skateboarded for almost a decade.
If you did skate at all.
Yeah, I did. I was bro, like again, anything I get into. My block used to hate me. On weekends, I would be out there at 7:30 in the morning, fucking ollieing, grinding on the curbs, everything. But I would pick like the best neighbor's curb. So I would always be in front of the same people's house, like usually, and they fucking hated me because on a weekend they're trying to sleep in and I'm out there grinding on their curb and ollieing and slamming the board. And I would hate me, right, if I was an adult. But as a kid, it was just, I got to get outside. I got to get outside and skate, you know? But not bad trends. Yeah, like those stove bottom, like straight leg pants, those, with the cutoffs at the bottom, those are pretty miserable. Any rave clothes was like basically all garbage. Like that was like thrift store garbage, like too tight, too small.
But though, so here's the thing. I mean, I was heavy into the rave scene, and I was in New York for a lot of parties. And
I wasn't too much. I saw it from the peripheral.
There was like a lot of low. Like it was low.
There was a lot of polo. Yeah. No, there definitely was. I think, but a lot of them were like fucking terrible dressers with like real crappy thrift store clothes. I
mean, I only fuck with them. I mean, yeah, there was some.
No, but there was definitely some. Yeah, there was definitely some low mixed in there.
Fucking lollipops and shit. I like techno.
Right.
So I fucking went for the music. I was like, whatever.
Gotcha.
Fuck you. Like you go over there and be weird. I'm gonna do my shit. Like, you know what I mean? But What else?
What else was fucking bad in the '90s? I mean, my version, my interpretation. Oh, I mean, then of course, I guess you got like the Marilyn Manson style, fucking, that not death metal type shit, but like all that extreme. So I lived out of state for a few years in my teenage years, right? And when I did, I got to this high school because some of the high school I did was in New York, and then some I moved out of state. And when I got there, it was like I felt like I was on Beverly Hills 90210 because coming from, New York City schools. Multiple story buildings, blah, blah, blah. And then come into this big ranch style, single story, sprawled out, right? But then I was like, yo, these are the kids I seen on TV. It was literally like 90210. You had the jocks, you had the preps, you had the fucking, what do you call them? The grunge dudes. So grunge style was garbage too, right? I mean, flannels and more thrift store clothes that didn't fit right and didn't look good and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, again, you had the preps, you had the jocks, you had the fucking grunge dudes. And then who else did you have? I don't know. And then maybe like one other subcategory, but it was like very distinctly like that. Whereas in my New York City schools, like it was like, you had hoods, you had, nerds, and you had like the rest. And that was pretty much it, and the rest was like, just that broadly mixed demographic. You had hoods who literally, like they occasionally showed up at school, occasionally, mostly didn't, most, people getting robbed at lunchtime and on the handball courts by everybody cutting school and da-da-da. Like you had like just maybe 3 categories, but out of state, you had very, very like distinct categories but it just looked like they were off TV. Like it was just so typical and like stereotyped. It was strange. You didn't see that in New York,
Right.
Not to that extreme. Maybe on Long Island back then, or upstate New York, but not in the boroughs.
Right. So you said you're releasing a joint. Like what? How often? You got this coming out soon?
Yeah, this hat right here is dropping privately this Friday, and then shortly thereafter, if any remain, right a little bit after.
I'm on that motherfucker right there.
I gotta get it. Don't worry, I got you. And then after that is another 2 to 3 weeks approximately, and so on and so forth. Something along those lines. One a month, one every whatever, but more frequently than seasonally. And by the end of this year, I'll see. I'll take a little consensus, a little feedback from people, see how they felt about it. But it just keeps novelty there. It doesn't overwhelm people when it drops, because then a lot of times too, people want something, but maybe somebody doesn't have the money for all 5 things. And, it creates more of a challenge for the individual. And again, I'm in no rush about this. It's just about making unique quality products that, that enhance whatever it is you want them to enhance, yourself, your wardrobe, that you can't find anywhere else. And again, just made with care and like legitimate care and concern,
Of course. I feel that shit, B. So have you I'm just putting it out there in the ether. Have you made a camo joint at all? Anything camo?
No, I haven't yet. I may. I haven't yet. You know what it is? Right nowadays, I don't think I do. I own like one double RL thing that's camo, that's got a camo pattern. But other than that, I own I'm not saying you have to rock a camo hat with only a camo, whatever. But yeah, I don't have, camo's not so much on my radar, just because nowadays I don't have anything. I'll definitely consider that. I always got my eyes open, whether it be for new Gore-Tex materials or, just unique materials, whether it be for the whole crown of the hat or for an accent, or I'm always there to innovate. Again, just real quick to put out there, as people probably know by now, my intention is never to remake the exact same hat build again. Primarily, like I said, to provide exclusivity for whoever buys the hat. I mean, that it's very improbable you're ever going to bump into anybody in the whole fucking world with one of these hats, because 1, I produce in very small batches, and 2, I'm more or less, I'm 98% committing. I'm 100% committing. I'm never going to make the exact hat again. Will I make another hat with denim in the future? Perhaps. It'll be a different weight, a different fabric, a different color, with a different brim, with a different back. Yeah, but of this exact one, or of that exact, there's only going to be one of each individual hat, And again, that's not to I don't ever want to if I ever get to the point where Nike is, where they just have to play themselves out ridiculously because they literally want to churn customers and continue that fucking addiction. I'm not trying to get where I got to do the snake print with the polka dot and the 3M on the same shoe with the zipper and the big heel in the back and the thing. Nah, bro. If I ever got to make a hat that's stupid to create variety, I'm out the game. But I'm still early enough in this hat making endeavor that there's still a lot of room to explore a lot of different, directions. Again, directions that are relevant, that are hopefully going to fit into people's wardrobe. Like I said, I'm not trying to make shit just for the sake of making it and just making something to make it. So I got to, look at this different hat. A lot of hats, a lot of things in general are cool to see on the fucking internet, but not necessarily cool to be the person who produces that, because it's not really viable. You might see some shit like, oh, wow, that's a really dope hat. But the reality is, this can't be a waste of time. Would anybody purchase that hat? No, probably not. Same thing with a certain sneaker or a certain whatever, would anybody really, more than one, would anybody really buy that? Sometimes not, so it's gotta fit a bunch of objectives,
Word. We're about to get on out of here. Anybody is, just let everybody know, if you're following this page, some people that follow this page, follow the app Carrying the Culture page. That's the real jump off.
Absolutely.
This is just a placeholder, because I'm banned right now from doing live shows on Carrying the Culture. So this is why we're doing it here. But that's the joint at Carrying the Culture. Big up to you, Eric.
Thank you, Jamal. Thank you, bro.
This was great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
really got to understand a lot about this shit, and just really got to know you better. I mean, you know, we've shot DMs and all that shit, but it's like, you know, we got to chop it up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely, bro.
Really, really appreciate it. And again, you're not for everybody. This isn't for everybody. And it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
either you fuck with it or you don't. But like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, thank you, bro. Me too.
Everyone,
That's the important part.
Quality, raw deal, 1982.
Thank you, bro.
Quality's crazy, son. Like, it's crazy.
Thank you.
It's like fucking.
I try, bro. I try. I mean, I got standards to uphold. I mean, my own expectations first and foremost. Again, like my name is on the shit. I'm affiliated with it. I mean, I could never put out garbage. I just took a screenshot of somebody else's hat today. It's too bad I can't show it up here in this live. If you look at these 2 rows of stitching, they start like this, like a husband and wife walking. And then the wife, she got mad at the husband, said, "I'll see you later, honey." And the husband kept walking in the same loop. Yeah, terrible, bro. Like, but that's the hat you just put on display in a photo. That hat would be in my B stockpile. I wouldn't sell that. I wouldn't put it out in public, you know, but some people don't care.
So we'll be on the lookout for new joints.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing. We'll definitely build again.
Absolutely, man.
If I get down to Florida, I would definitely look you up. I'd love to, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. And I'm going to try to get back up to New York this summer. I'm trying. And if I do, I'm going to probably try to do some OTH fucking theme something. So of course you're invited, needless to say.
Yeah.
I haven't planned it yet, but now that this mass stuff's gone and blah, 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 I'm looking forward to doing something back to, you know, normal, being normal human beings in a free free society. It's not free society anymore, but you know, whatever it is.
No, I feel you. Let me know. Salute to everybody.
I will, of course.
I'll tag you when we
thank you, everybody.
Chop this up, edit it up, and everything like that. And
cool,
thank
bro.
You. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, Small. Thank you so much, bro.
No doubt.
Have a great night. Yeah, you too, bro. Peace.